Welcome to the Jack Jones Show. Thanks so much for joining me. I've never seen more hypocrisy on both sides of politics than with Trump's Supreme Court pick right now. Let's have a look at what Lindsey Graham said back in 2016 when Obama was president and Republicans held the Senate.
I want you to use my words against me. If there's a Republican president in 2016 and a vacancy occurs in the last year of the first term, you can say, Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president, whoever it might be, make that nomination, and you could use my words against me and you'd be absolutely right.
Now let's have a look at Trump agree with what Lindsey Graham was saying back in 2016 when he was in a fight to be the Republican nominee for president.
Because I think the next president should make the pick, and I think they shouldn't go forward, and I believe I'm and pretty much in line with what the Republicans are saying. I think that the next president should make the pick. We don't have a very long distance to wait. Certainly they could wait it out very easily, but I think the next president should make the pick. I would be not in favor of going forward.
Well, we've got the flip, and now it's time for the flop. Let's have a look at what Lindsey Graham said just a few days ago.
We've got the votes to confirm Justice Ginsburg's replacement before the election. We're going to move forward in the committee. We're going to report the nomination out of the committee to the floor of the United States Senate so we can vote before the election. That's the constitutional process. After Kavanaugh, everything changed with me. They're not going to intimidate me, Mitch McConnell, or anybody else.
The Democrats were terrible over Kavanaugh, but that's no grounds for such an all-time flip-flop. Let's have a look and see what happens next.
I stand before you today to fulfill one of my highest and most important duties under the United States Constitution, the nomination of a Supreme Court Justice.
Well, the flip's officially flopped. The Democrats are no better though, both sides suffer from flip-flop-itis. Let's have a look at what President Obama said back in 2016 when he was being blocked from nominating his Supreme Court pick by the Republicans who control the Senate.
The Constitution is pretty clear about what is supposed to happen now. When there is a vacancy on the Supreme Court, the President of the United States is to nominate someone. The Senate is to consider that nomination, and either they disapprove of that nominee or that nominee is elevated to the Supreme Court. Historically, this has not been viewed as a question. There's no unwritten law that says that it can only be done on off years. That's not in the constitutional text.
That was the Democrats in 2016. Let's have a look at what they think now.
We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. We have a responsibility to meet the needs of the American people. When we weigh the equities, protecting our democracy requires us to use every arrow in our quiver.
And so we need to make sure that we mobilize on an unprecedented scale to ensure that this vacancy is reserved for the next president. And we must use every tool at our disposal. And we must also commit to using every procedural tool available to us to ensure that we buy ourselves the time necessary.
Enough of the flip-flopping, enough of the hypocrisy. Let's just get a couple of things straight. Since the 1880s, the Senate has never confirmed an opposition party's nomination for a Supreme Court justice. Now, in 2016, the Republicans held the Senate because they'd won the 2014 midterm elections and they were given a mandate to block President Obama's choice. The same thing is happening now. Even though Trump is president, the Republicans were given a mandate in the 2018 midterm election by winning that. Well, the Democrats are right that the Republicans and no party have ever nominated a Supreme Court justice this close to an election. But Trump has been put in this position by the death, timely and unfortunately, of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Unfortunately, none of this supersedes what is in the Constitution. Trump has a constitutional ability and power to nominate a Supreme Court justice and take it to the Senate. As President Obama said previously,
there's no unwritten law that says that it can only be done on off years. That's not in the constitutional text.
The Democrats will not be able to stop this nomination because they have no constitutional power to do so. They'll use every possible procedural tactic, like the Republicans did in 2016, to delay the vote. They'll use every quiver in their bow, but it won't change the fact that they will not stop this nomination. Now, this next video shows exactly just how deep and divided the country is at the moment.
Is to honor her legacy, to demand that her last wish be fulfilled by the Senate. She said, "My most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced by until a new president is installed." We believe that.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, may she rest in peace, never said that she wants to wait until after the next election to have a Supreme Court justice picked. She said she wants to wait until the next president is installed, meaning that she doesn't want President Trump to install the next Supreme Court justice. Now, that could be 5 years from now if Trump wins the next election, and we obviously can't wait 5 years. Ruth Bader Ginsburg clearly is letting politics override the Constitution, even in her death, which is disappointing for somebody who built a towering legacy from the back of the Constitution that she worked with every single day of her professional career. This clearly isn't about right or wrong. This is about power. If Ruth Bader Ginsburg can't oppose hypocrisy and stay neutral, even in her dying stages, then what hope do America's politicians have?